What's up, ladies and gentlemen? My name is Cannon Fodder and welcome to the Game Blog. This is I guess you could say an introductory / tutorial video for Rise of Industry. This is a game I've been playing for a while. I've been playing it on stream as well, and I figured, why not show people how I get started within the game? So, here we are in our world, of course. We've got several towns, ranging from small to large. The largest of which is Whiskerray, which is where we're going to be setting up a shop in these videos. So let's check out our town. The first thing you want to do before you get started is to check out your town and the buildings within it, as well as what resources the region contains. These buildings, as well as the region resources, will dictate what you can harvest, with a few exceptions, as well as what you'll be, specializing in, as well as the industry that you'll primarily be using to grow your empire. So we click here on the town hall, which is usually underneath the orange name. We'll find out we've got 3 shops in town: a farmer's market, hardware store, a liquor store, and the wholesaler. Every town has a wholesaler, but your starting buildings in your town will vary depending on where your town is situated, how large it is, and it's randomly generated as well. The region also has various resources in it: coal, copper, fish, wood, and iron. Wood, obviously, trees for days. Your copper is here. Coal, iron all the way up there. Fair distance to travel. And we've got fish in the water up here and up here. If you hit your tab key, you will get those highlighted as well. Hitting tab again will bring up more information, and then tab again will get rid of it all. For now, we'll just leave the town information up. Now, before you touch any of these buttons, we'll go and have a look at the stores. Now, your liquor store contains some 4th and 3rd tier items. These are resources or items that have been refined from a starting point. We can't make any of these yet, so we're going to ignore the liquor store for now. You can generally tell where something sits within the, manufacture tree by the amount it's sold for per unit. So your brandies and your ciders are pretty well up there. You're going to sell for quite a fair amount, as well as your barley whiskey. So, alright, let's check out our hardware store. Got several good things in here. Your lumber, easily available within the region, and quite easily sold. Copper tubing requires a little bit of refining, as you can tell. It sells for a little bit more. Ceramics, another refined product, will sell for more as well. Glass, dyes, electric wires. Cotton is another base resource, very easily available at the start of the game. We'll get into why that is in a second. And sand, which you can just pretty much pick up off the beach using your sand collector buildings. All well and good. So we've got some good stuff there. We've got some 1st tier resources, as well as some 2nd tier refined products, and some 3rd tier stuff as well. Right, let's have a look at our farmer's market. Again, a lot of good stuff in here, some of which won't be available to us immediately. We'll get into reasons why in a second, but we've got some vegetables, pretty good. Fish, easily grabbed and easily sold as well. We've got oranges, eggs, milk, some good stuff. A nice variety of foods. Alright, let's jump into our tech tree. Your tech tree will be found here in the top right hand corner, so let's click on that. Now, before you choose a specialization, you have to preview your tech tree button. This will come in handy as you figure out what industry you're going to specialize in and what resources you're going to harvest and manufacture. So here are your basic gathering buildings, and they get more specialized as you go. So we won't be able to touch any of the coal, iron, and copper just yet, because that requires us to spend 3 points here in our 1st tier, which we will be doing, but not for all the reasons that people are thinking right now. We'll probably pick up the water siphon, the sand collector, and the fisherman pier. The fisherman pier will get us access to the fish very early on, which will provide us with a very nice base income. The sand collector, which we'll grab for sand, which we'll be able to refine into other products later down the line, and a water siphon as well, which will be used for our farms. I've already got an idea of what I'm going to be doing with this particular tutorial, because it's what works and it's the resources that we have available. We'll get into that in a second. 2 crop farms right now, orchards and livestock farms. So your livestock farms will be able to give you milk, meat, leathers, wool, that kind of thing. So that's locked away. We can't do our meats, our milk, and our egg just yet. Orchards, another one, is locked away behind those 3 points there. Orchards will allow you to do apples and oranges, as well as wines. So that's locked away. We can't do that one yet. And you generally be able to choose one or both of these buildings. So your crop farms will be with veggies, hops, as well as your wheats later down the line, plantations, berries and cotton, as well as cocoas and sugar canes. Industrial buildings. These are basically going to turn your harvested materials, so your things like your berries, your grapes, that kind of thing, into your secondary products. So your brewery distillery will be used for making wines. This is why we can't deal with our liquor store just yet, because we can't have access to this building just yet. Same thing with a lot of these other ones. But what we can pick up are things like your carpentry centres, which refines your wood, your glassworks and smelters, which will refine your sand, as well as your iron and your copper, your paper mills, again, some more refining for your wood, and textiles. This will be one of the ones that we pick up to manufacture our fabrics. As you saw earlier, fabrics actually sell for quite a fair bit, and it's easily accessible as well. Logistics, this is how you're going to ferry everything around. This is basically the transport for your materials as well as your end resource. This is how you get it from your farms to your manufactories to the shops. There are multiple different ways of getting it there, via train, boat, blimp, truck. You'll start with trucks, and as the game progresses, you'll be able to unlock the rest of these tiers as well. Alright, so let's come back out into the world, and we'll go over what I generally stick with, because these are the resources that are fairly readily available, as well as something that we can pick off pretty quickly. As you saw, we can't get to our livestock farm, so that cuts milk, meat, eggs out of the product. Wheat is locked behind a research and development point underneath your crop farm. Not unobtainable, but not what we're going to be going with for this particular run. Sugar, again, at a plantation, is locked behind a second tier on our plantations. Not something we're going to be dealing with immediately. Ditto oranges. Fish, easily accessible. Plenty of fish in the ocean, as well as it's easily accessible for what we're going to be doing. Vegetables, again, not something we're really going to be dealing with right now. And in fact, we're not going to be really producing anything that the farmer's market needs straight away. So we'll be closing that. The area we're going to be focusing on is the hardware store. We're going to be focusing on our cottons, our fabrics, and later on, our glasses, as well as our dye. These are the 4 products that we'll probably start with. Probably not going to bother selling sand at any point. It doesn't sell for very much. It's not worth the amount that it costs for your buildings to be maintained, as well as the trucks that it uses to ship it from its start point to its end point. But fabrics is definitely something that we can do pretty quickly, fairly easily, and very early on, and it'll generate a nice, healthy amount of income. Speaking of income, hang on a minute, let's actually get our buildings first. So, in light of what we just saw, we'll probably be picking up under our gathering, our water siphon for our farms, sand collector, and our fisherman's pier. The sand collector will come in handy later on. We probably won't use that just yet. The other thing we'll have to collect at some stage is the lumberyard as well. And in fact, I think I might grab the lumberyard first, because at least wood sells for a little bit more than sand, and that comes in handy for a product later down the line, which we'll be transitioning into at some stage. Farming, we're going to pick up our plantation. Our plantation is berries and cotton. Our berries and our cotton. Cotton we can sell immediately, and the berries are used to turn into dye. I'll explain how that works in a second. Industry, for this one, we're going to pick up our textile factory. That turns our dyes, as well as our cotton, into fabric, which, as you saw, sells for quite a fair bit. And then later down the line, we'll probably pick up our glassworks smelter, our carpentry centre, and then our paper mill. And we'll keep going down the line until we've unlocked all of them, but we will have to be smart about it, as well as, which buildings we need over the others more, or sooner, rather. And then dispatch slots. We're going to pick up this one. This will allow us to build fewer buildings, and I'll show you why in a second. Alright. It is worth noting that these buildings here, so your liquor stores, your hardware stores and stuff, they're directly connected to your town's growth, so the more you supply them with, your town grows faster. As your town grows, more of those kinds of buildings will appear. This will allow you more opportunities to grow your industry as well as free up the amount of materials that you can supply to your town. So that's all we've got time for in this particular episode. We'll get started in the next one. We'll set everything up, and get stuck into it. We'll see you next time. Thanks for tuning in.